Folks, welcome back. I have your latest home prices and insights for the Peel and Durham region for week ending June 22nd, 2022. In my market report for Toronto, which came out yesterday, I spoke about something that I feel is so important, it's worth repeating today. In a real estate transaction, there are many moving parts, many professionals involved. There's a realtor, there's a mortgage broker, there's a real estate lawyer, there may or may not be a home inspector, although we're seeing those much more now these days with the way the market's changing. Well, any realtor you work with, I would assume any realtor you work with, has these other professions available to refer to you. We can refer a real estate lawyer if you don't have one. We can refer a mortgage broker if you don't have one. If a home inspection is on the cards and is one of the conditions, we can refer competent, I would assume, fantastic home inspectors. We should all have that at our disposal to offer that service to our clients. There's nothing wrong in referring good people that do a great job. The problem lies when your realtor insists that you have to use that specific mortgage broker or that specific real estate lawyer or that specific home inspector. You might already have a good relationship with with people in one of those professions. But if your realtor is insisting that that's the person you have to use, to me that's a red flag. Why are they so insistent that I don't use the real estate lawyer that I have experience with and I have to use the one that realtor saying it must be? It's a red flag. You hire these professionals around you to help you with the transaction to protect your best interest. But the first person protecting your best interest is you. So learn to identify some of these red flags. It'll help you along the way. And the real estate transaction should be smooth. But again, learn to see some of these red flags and identify them. And you always do what's best for you and your family. If you feel this message could help somebody you know, please pass it along. Let's get into the numbers. If you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. Below this video in the description, there's a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you. This way I'll know ahead of time and I'll make sure I'm organized so we can talk about whatever's on your mind. The party's over, folks. You know, we do quite a bit of work across the GTA. And as prices were going up, nothing surprised me more than the way prices were appreciating in Durham and in Peel region. It was amazing to see. We sold a property in December in Brampton, and just a few weeks later, the other side of Christmas in January, we sold our property for 1.3, a similar property sold for 1.6. It was amazing. That property actually came back on the market. It didn't close, and so they had to put that property back on the market. Anyways, prices now, as fast as they went up, are coming down. It's astounding. Like it's really hard to explain. Let's get into the numbers. Let me show you. That's probably the best way to explain. Here we have the three areas that we're talking about. We've got the blue here for Mississauga. The orange is Brampton, and the burgundy line is Durham. For Durham, I'm using Pickering, Ajax, and Whitby as my Durham sample. Durham and Brampton are pretty much the same average sold price. Let's zero in on Mississauga. 37 detached properties were sold in Mississauga for week ending June 22nd. That's not a lot of properties being sold, only 37. 5 of those were at $2 million or more. We look at the peak here at over 2.1 million. Average sold price now is $1,462,000. way down from the peak, and you know, I don't know if how far down it's going to go, but 1,462,000 is 6% lower than where the average sold price was a year ago at this time. Median price is also 6% lower than where the median price was a year ago. So those people that have been saying, oh, we're going to get back to 2021 prices for Mississauga for this week, we're there already. We're past, we're lower than 2021 prices. Median price 3 months ago was 1.6 million. It's now 1,320,000. Huge difference in just a span of three months. Of the 37 that sold, 22% sold at list price or more. If we go back 3 months ago, we were 81% selling at list price or more. Now it's 22. And year-to-date sales, 38% fewer sales this year in Mississauga year-to-date versus last year in Mississauga. 126 were listed. Again, these are just detached properties, and 470 active listings. And year-to-date listings were 12% fewer listings this year than last year. Months of inventory shot way up. We're sitting now at 2.9 months of inventory. If you look back in 3 months, you've seen months of inventory go up, average sold price come down. That's how it worked. The longer properties are sitting out there, the more choices we have in properties, the more prices come down. There's a lot of panic sellers on the market right now that absolutely have to sell. They're moving their price quickly. There's lots of room to negotiate in many situations right now out there. Let's look at Brampton. 54 detached properties were sold in Brampton. If we if we go back to February, the peak of sales was 130 sales for the first week of February. It's been going down almost every week. It's been going down, lower. Last week, ending June 22nd, we sold 54 detached properties in Brampton. I put 2 up. 3 of those were at $2 million or more. Average sold price has come down a bit more. It's now sitting at $1,266,000. The peak was higher than 1.6 million. It's now 1,266. 1,266 is 8% higher than where average sold price was a year ago. If we look at, we go back just 3 months. It's not a long time. The blue line is last year's average sold price. The orange line is this year. You can see the difference, the gap. We're at 32%, 24%, 25% higher than last year. But as we get to today, the gap between last year and this year is smaller and smaller. And last week it was 8% higher than last year's average sold price. Median price is currently 6% higher than last year's median price. Median price used to be more than 1.5 million. It's now 1,180,000. That's the median price. So, you know, you kind of look at it, median price is the middle, higher, lower, lots of different price changes there. Compared to last year, year-to-date sales, 42% fewer sales this year than last year in Brampton. And of the 54 that sold, only 30% sold at list price or more. We used to be at 90 and 80% selling at list price or more. Now it's less than a third. 184 detached properties were listed, and months of inventory has climbed up to 2.6 months of inventory. We were at 1 month of inventory, 0.8 months of inventory. We're now at 2.6. It's climbing up. Average sold price is coming down. Average days on market in Brampton was 8. It's now sitting at 17, more than doubled. Here we go with the Durham region. So Pickering, Ajax, and Whitby. 59 detached properties were sold. 3 of those were at $2 million or more. Average sold price came up a bit from the previous week. It actually came up quite a bit from the previous week. It's now sitting at $1,242,000. We're going to get up and down every single week. Overall, the trend is way down. The peak was over 1.6 million. It's now at 1,242,000, which is 9% higher than where average price was a year ago. Median price is 1% lower than what it was a year ago. Median price used to be 1.3. Today it's sitting at $1,070,000, so just over $1 million for the median price. As far as sales year to date, 32% fewer sales this year versus last year. 46% sold at list price or more. Used to be over 90%. Now it's less than half. 133 detached properties were listed. Year-to-date listings were 6% fewer listings this year than last year, and months of inventory is sitting at 1.2. Now, in any normal market, we'll say 1.2 months of inventory would be a seller's, it is a seller's market technically when we look at this. And 1.2 months of inventory would be a very aggressive seller's market. Prices should be going up when we're looking at 1.2 months of inventory. But it's been so insane in Durham when we were sitting at 0.2 and 0.3 months of inventory, that the fact that now it's at 1.2 months of inventory and prices are coming down just tells you how crazy the market has been and the buyer's attitude these days and the situations of some of these sellers having to drop prices. It's just insane out there in a lot of situations right now. Let's look at condos for York Region. Sorry, for Peel Region. Condos is for York Region, that's a different video. Condos for Peel Region, 45 condos. These are condo apartments, not condo townhouses, just condo apartments. 45 are sold. Average sold price has come up a bit to $660,000. It was at $753 when we talk about the peak. It's now $660. $660 is 14% higher than where the average sold price was a year ago. And again, if we look at the current average sold price versus the blue line, which is last year's average sold price, it used to be higher, 26, 29%, 25% higher. It's smaller now. The gap, it's sitting at 14%. Now, condos, as far as percentage-wise, are outperforming the detached market, because in the detached market, we're sitting at 3% higher, 2% higher, 5% higher, or lower than last year's average sold price. Condos are sitting at 14% higher. Median price is 20% higher than last year's median price when it comes to condo. We're sitting at $650 for the median price, very similar to the average sold price, but median price 3 months ago was $710. It's now $650. Hasn't moved that much, but it's coming down. 22% fewer condo sales this year versus last year if we're looking at year to date. 36% of the 45 condos that did sell sold at list price or more. Listings is up slightly. 144 were listed last week, and months of inventory came down a bit. It's sitting now at 2.6 months of inventory. When we look back, we used to be at 0.4, 0.5. Big jump to 2.6 months of inventory. That explains why prices are coming down. If we look at days on market, they've more than doubled. We used to be at 8 days on market on average. We're now sitting at 17 average days on market. A quick summary here. Ajax, Pickering and Whitby, the Durham region, months of inventory didn't move. It looks remarkably low, but prices are still coming down. The other areas, months of inventory are going up. Condos, it came down slightly, but we're getting very close to a balanced market. But it really feels like a buyer's market out there, where the buyers are in charge and the buyers can really negotiate a great price right now. Hope you found this information useful and helpful. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day. Let me introduce you to Unit 1906 at 339 Rathburn Road West. This is a big condo at 948 square feet, has 2 bedrooms, a large den, 2 full bathrooms, floor-to-ceiling window, tons of features. And the amenities here, apart from the usual, has an indoor pool, a tennis court, and a bowling alley. Check it out.